Devereaux!
I'm Mr. Devereaux.
What's that humming mean?
Beethoven's Fifth.
I never said I was more than I am.
Welcome everyone to episode 47 of Kiss Meets the Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Eli Clausen.
And I'm young Branton.
And I just walked into the room and there was a camera on, so I guess luckily I wasn't naked.
We've gone voyeur on the show, what can I say?
Yes.
If only the camera's a little to the right, and then if you were on the toilet or something. But
There you go.
And young Brent, that's something you haven't heard in a long time, I bet.
I know, right?
Ba-dum-ching.
No matter how old I get, I'll always be young.
Forever young.
Forever.
Forever Brenton Young.
Everything goes back to Kiss.
There you go. And somehow Rod Stewart.
Yep. John Mellencamp.
Oh God! So as we speak, of course, the cruise is still going on. Actually, tonight, as of the recording of this, the 7th, Kiss will be playing their first, full indoor makeup show. Really excited to see what they're going to play, but based on the set list, for the acoustic sail away show, what were some of your guys' thoughts on that? I mean, a lot of it was sort of, the same stuff, but I don't know. It's always cool to hear, in my opinion.
Definitely.
Well, it'd be cool to be there.
Yeah, it sure would. Yeah, just like a quick overview, they did Coming Home, which we've already talked how much that rules. Plaster Caster, Do You Love Me, Christine 16, Hotter Than Hell, Hard Luck Woman, Shock Me, which is kind of interesting on acoustic, I guess. World Without Heroes, Got to Choose, Hide Your Heart, Going Blind, Beth, Love Her All I Can, Every time I look at you, every time I hit puberty. See You Tonight, Nothing to Lose, and apparently it was preceded by a little snippet of All the Way, which is kind of cool. They haven't done that since the Rock the Nation tour. And then Dr. Love was the last one. So, kind of, a couple, I guess, small surprises in there.
So was that was last night or that was today?
That was actually 2 days ago now for the Sail Away show on the 5th. And I noticed on the website, they posted the picture, and the Sail Away show took place at night this time. Usually, it's broad daylight, sunshine. So I know, they took off from New Orleans this year, so maybe they had a whole different schedule this year. And that's why it started at night this time, or I don't know, maybe they thought it would have a better feel to it to do it at nighttime. I don't know. But a couple interesting, doing the little All the Way snippet. I'd definitely like to see some video of it, or actually the whole thing would be cool to see. I'd like to hear, well, I'll tell you what, I'd like to hear every time I look at you to hear how Paul handled that. Definitely would like to hear the acoustic version of Shock Me again. Well.
Yeah. Excuse me, sorry.
Well, I was going to say if there's anyone that is at the cruise after it's all over with, it'd be nice to have them on the show.
Absolutely. And if by the chance you see this, please share some pictures or videos on our Facebook page as well. And then if possible, maybe we can even include them in the show if we have you on. That would be something interesting. So, what Branton said, if anyone attended, let us know. We'd love to have you on and hear your recap of the show. So, what are some of your hopes, wishes for the actual Kiss set list for tonight and tomorrow? Are they going to do the same set both nights again? Any deep cuts this year, or can we just expect a run of the mill set list this year?
Well, they're probably going to be wearing the same costumes. They're probably going to be doing the same set list. I don't know what the last tour or the last show they did, but it's probably going to be similar to that. That's just my guess. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
I would think if they learned anything new, it would probably be something that Gene's solo band was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of my worry too. Is it's just going to be the same set list as what they were already doing, and and I mean it's still cool, but obviously with the Kruise, that's been kind of the sale point, is if you want to hear the deep cuts, come on the Kruise and this and that. So I hope, completely wrong and they come out wearing different costumes, or, even if it's the same costumes, do another nice, surprise filled set. Play the other half of Creatures that they didn't play last year.
Well, what would be the options for costumes? I mean, if they're going to recreate, something like they did with Creatures, I wonder. There's not a whole lot of other things that they'd be willing to do, I wouldn't think, at this point.
I would love to see them go back and do like the Hotter Than Hell costumes. I think that would be sweet.
Yeah,
they could do that.
I know Dynasty is an easy decision, but I really just don't feel like they would ever do that again, because I don't think they really liked the look and feel of those, and they thought it was too what do they say, like Vegas showgirly or whatever.
I think that period, along with like a couple years after that, probably has really, I don't know, it's almost like they feel like that they were probably not true to Kiss as they started out, and
right.
And I think that Bill Aucoin probably had something to do with some of that, the look and the stage and everything on Dynasty, because I know he was really trying a lot of different things and trying to branch out, and maybe that's got a lot to do with it too. I don't know.
Yeah, they're cashing in on the times, all the disco related stuff, and then of course at that time is when merchandise and everything took off, and you started seeing families showing up at the shows, and that's when they kind of was like, whoa, maybe we got a little in over our heads here. It's becoming Disney.
Well, unfortunately, my family was never there.
Well, I'm sure by the time the Creatures tour came, there wasn't a lot of families at those shows. Especially when Paul started using a lot of foul language around that time.
And that's funny, because from 79 to 82, that's not really that long of a period.
Right, and it feels like, 10 years or so when you look at how much they evolved in just that period of time. I mean, it's crazy. But the Hotter Than Hell costumes, I mean, of course they've already done Destroyer and Love Gun. They're kind of mixing, well, in a way they're sort of mixing Elder with the Creatures look, because with what Tommy's wearing, that that kind of crossed into Elder too.
The outfits they were wearing on the Rock the Nation tour, wasn't that from like the Alive period?
Yeah, because that was right around the same time of Alive 35, wasn't it? Wasn't that the tour after or something? So yeah, I think they were doing the Alive then, and then they did the Alive costumes again a couple years ago on the Cruise when they did the Alive album.
Yeah.
And then they came out and did the show in the suits too. So they've already kind of, I guess you could say, dressed to kill. They've already done that. So I don't know. I mean, like I say, Hotter Than Hell, Dynasty, and then if I'm missing something, let me know. But other than that, like, there you go. Other than that, it's like non-makeup type stuff, like wearing some of those, like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to call them costumes at the same time, because a lot of that period they were just wearing random stuff, but again, the Asylum era, that kind of was more of a costume, even though I'd really not like to see them wear that, especially at this point in their career.
Yeah, you love it. Love it, and you know you love it.
Oh gosh, I have posters everywhere.
That's something that we should do on this podcast, is do the Asylum costumes.
Oh God. I wouldn't even know where to look, like a S&M store.
You'd probably have to go to a Halloween store around October, would be my guess, to get 80s stuff. I don't know.
Oh Lord.
I have some zebra pants.
I bet you do. Oh my God. I don't know. What do you guys think about some other possible costumes or looks, or maybe, thoughts? Mix it up, anything.
Well, unless they just go flat out and do the Elder, which, I mean, that's really, like you say, Tommy's already doing that, and they won't do anything with Vinny, and they're sort of doing the stuff with Eric, half and half, Eric Carr. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't think there's anything left. I think they need new costumes again, because for Sonic, was it Sonic Boom? They had new costumes, and they've sort of had those on and off and variations of those ever since.
Right, and then of course Monster, they pretty much, at least Gene mainly had a new costume. With the spikes or whatever, the teeth looking things. What do you think, Luke?
Yeah, I agree that it would be cool for them, especially on a cruise or something, to do, do the whole Elder, just to be interesting. I don't know if that's something they could tour on, but it would be interesting. Other than that, no, I agree totally. It'd be cool to see brand new costumes.
Oh yeah, I agree. And they don't have to be putting out a new album at this point to do new costumes like it used to be.
Right.
At this point, just come out and do it. It's getting ready to be a new year, so let's get a new look. Okay, the Creatures.
Well, they sort of done that when they did the Kiss Cruise, because I didn't expect them to tour with those costumes.
True.
Right.
True.
So that was almost the opposite of new costumes, but it was a surprise.
Yeah, because I remember last year we were sitting here like, you think they're going to, actually keep wearing those, and we were kind of skeptical then, and we were wrong. And, that's awesome. I love the Creatures look, and, even though it is altered, but, okay, that's kind of run its course already again, so let's go somewhere else. I mean, with what Eric Singer's wearing, it's really not even the Creatures costume anyway. It's just kind of a variation and almost like a custom. So it's really not Creatures or Elder with what he's actually wearing. If you actually study, what Eric Carr wore, it's really not similar to either one. Because his, the fur is kind of weird. He's got the fur kind of how my costume looks, but Eric Carr never really had that. And, he's got the sleeveless thing and all that stuff. So, there's a lot of variations on it.
Well, Eric never had that on the Elder, that's for sure. It was all like zippers and stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Jacket looking thing.
Yeah. It was like a trash bag with zippers or something. Yeah, so that would be awesome, is to see them come out tonight or and tomorrow wearing some new costumes or something. And then as far as the set list, yeah, I, of course, would love to see some more deep cuts pulled out, preferably some stuff they haven't been doing in the recent years. And, obviously they'll throw in a lot of the usual stuff, which is fine. Everybody enjoys that anyway. It's a party atmosphere on the ship anyway, so people are going to want to hear Rock and Roll All Night, shout out loud, that kind of stuff to,
I think what would be really cool is something I think we did on an episode of this show was take one track from each album and do it in chronological order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they could mix up like the popular songs with the deep cuts, but they'd be, just one song from each album. I think that'd be a great set list.
But would we do it where it has to be a song that they've never done live? Or just whatever we think is the...
Well, if it was like the Kiss Cruise, if they were doing it on the Kiss Cruise, then it would probably, like you say, they'd be doing like Rock and Roll Night, Detroit Rock City. they'd probably throw those in. But that would almost have to be the encore, because if you're going to take one song from each album, you would sort of want it to be a sort of obscure song, or I would.
Right, like say Destroyer, something like Sweet Pain, something that they've never done live, and and then you're gonna obviously have Shout Out Loud, encore, whatever, however we could arrange it that way.
Yeah.
Didn't we do that on an episode or something similar? I thought
We did something similar. I think what it was the our ideal like final set list for like the last show.
Oh yeah,
and it was like a chronological thing, and like
I started with I think.
Yeah. And it was one of them things where like every member, of course, that are alive would be involved, but then we even got kind of crazy and talked about, oh, what if they did like a hologram of Eric Carr and maybe Mark St. John, because it's kind of a big thing now.
That would be cool, though.
Yeah, it would. I could.
They could do that on the cruise very easily.
Yeah, have a hologram of Eric Carr doing Car Jam, or I'm sure they could do it.
I wonder if they've ever thought about stuff like that or not.
I don't know. You would almost think like, yeah, sure they have, because it's Kiss. But at the same time, maybe they haven't thought about that. They keep rolling the way they roll. And
well, call up Gene. Call Gene right now and find out.
All right, let me add him to the thing here. Let me send a pigeon over to the ship and drop this message off. So we could definitely do that sort of topic maybe next week or something, but for now, let's just ramble off a couple off the top of your head that you would like to hear them play.
Oh, I'd rather have Kiss do it, but I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, ramble on. That'd be a good one. We can do it the Zeppelin. Let's do all Zeppelin.
Well, there is a Zeppelin tribute band on the cruise, so I'm sure that'll be played. No, I mean, some of the Kiss deep cuts, some that come to the top of your mind right now, like
Mr. Blackwell would be a great song. They've never done that, I don't think.
Yeah, I've always said, like, I would love to hear that. I would even love to play it, but I realize it's not exactly the greatest live song. But
and Gene doing a solo tour, you'd think it would just. I mean, I know they're not proud of the Elder, and they say negative things all the time, but it. Still, I mean, it's just a song. Just play it. People will go crazy.
I mean, they have to know how many fans have been praising that album. I mean, they got to know that. So, we understand they may not like it, but it's really about what the fans want. And they say that, but then at the same time, there's things that they don't give the fans that we want.
Some of the songs that Gene's playing on his solo is like very unusual songs, I thought.
I agree.
Well, like he's done what was some of the ones, Charisma, and what else? There was like 3 or 4 different ones.
Charisma, he did, oh God, what was the one recent one?
Got Love for Sale? Did he do that one?
Yeah. Got Love for Sale. That was...
I don't think they've ever done that, ever.
No. Just the fact that he starts his show with that intro to the solo album playing, to me, that's, like, awesome in itself, because it's like, again, you never hear, those type of intros for, Kiss-related shows, and for him to pick that out of anything, it's like, to me, that's awesome, because it's, like, perfect for a Gene show. The only thing better than that is if he was in full makeup and costume, coming out with all the smoke after that thing's playing. That would just be perfect. Can one of you pull up the set list that Bruce and Bob did? I didn't want to forget to talk about that either.
Yeah.
Bruce and Bob, as we mentioned last week, they were going to pull out some deep cuts themselves. According to the set list they did, they definitely delivered. You guys said there's already some footage online, so I might have to look that up myself.
Why Luke's pulling that up, today's Tommy Thayer's birthday, by the way.
That's right. Happy birthday to Tommy. What better way to spend it than out there on the ship, man? That's awesome. So
Today is October. I wish it was still October.
I know.
November 7th, right?
November 7th. So happy birthday, Tommy.
And it's also Peter Brady's birthday, Christopher Knight.
Peter Brady, the original spaceman.
When it's time to change.
I think I'll go for a walk outside.
I'd like to hear Kiss do that song.
Oh,
You know, I tell you a song that they could do that they've never done live, and it would only take them a couple minutes, is that "Don't Touch My Ascot" song. They should do that.
oh, I keep forgetting about that. That's something they should play like over the PA after the show or something.
And, you know, isn't that the very last song so far that they've recorded?
You know, I think technically, yeah.
So if Kiss was to announce their last tour and, you know, they don't do another album, that would be the last song that they've done.
Wow.
Because that came after the thing with the Japanese band, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And I believe that was the last thing before that.
I think so.
Oh, man.
That's scary if you think about it.
Yes. We need to play it over the PA at our shows.
Yes.
I need to find that and, I don't know, like, pull up the YouTube video or something if it's out there. And
What, the Japanese
no,
thing?
the Ascot.
Oh,
Because I don't have that audio. I need to
yeah.
get
I have
that.
it on my iPod, but I can't remember if I think there's an audio clip of it on YouTube. I think that's how I got it.
Okay. That same, the group that they did, I don't know, why, Samurai Son, I can't ever think of it.
Yeah, that's it.
That same group, they did a cover of Rock and Roll All Night also on that album, and oh my god, it's atrocious.
Well, there's like 3 versions of that song. There's one with Kiss doing a lot of the vocals. There's one with just the girls by themselves, and then there's the live version that they did in Japan.
Yes. That they were lip syncing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, actually, the music video to that, I think, is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
You know, in the song, I don't know, it's not the worst thing I've ever heard Kiss do. I mean, I think it's fairly listenable. I can deal with it.
Okay, so what would you say is a worse Kiss song? Worse than that? I mean, I agree, it's not the worst song.
The worst thing I've ever heard them do is probably Finally Found My Way.
Really?
Yes.
Well, see, I was going to pick something from maybe Hot in the Shade, but I can't think of a specific song right off.
Again, I like a lot of songs off that album. I think
About half of it.
I think one of the main reasons it gets so much flack is the overall production of it.
Yeah.
If you listen to it, you know, where you kind of try to give it a little life, it makes it come to life a lot better, in my opinion. You know, I was listening to Street Giveth, came on in the car yesterday when I was on my way to practice, and it just sounded, because it was one of those that I tinkered with and kind of tried to, you know, add a little to it to make it sound better, and I was just like, man, it just felt so much more powerful, and I think that's one of the main reasons that album gets so much flack. I mean, I really think there's a lot of great songs on there. I mean, I remember when the album came out, I got it on cassette. I used to play that thing all the time. I mean, so much good stuff on there.
What is there, like 18 or 19 tracks or something like that?
I think it's 18, 15, yeah.
15.
Eric Carr, that Little Caesar, that was the first time on a Kiss album that someone other than Gene and Paul sang a song since, I believe it was Elder.
Right.
You know, you really think about that, it's like, wow, that's true.
And what was the next time? Bruce on Carnival of Souls?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. It is weird.
You know, I bet if Eric had in the past, he probably would have had a song on Revenge.
Well, that is strange because the one that Eric did on Hot and Shade was the last album that he did with Kiss, and Carnival of Souls, the one Bruce did, was the last album he did with Kiss.
True.
Isn't that weird?
It is weird. Yeah, and then it's weird because Eric did the vocals to Young and Wasted live, but of course on the album it's not. So it's like, man, when you think about that, it's like, wow, since Elder, that was really, Gene and Paul were the only ones singing ever since. And so, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know that's not the only album that gets a lot of flack. I know, Crazy Nights gets it, which I'm not as big of a fan of that. I used to say that about Asylum, but I've said it many times. That's become one of my favorites now. It's a killer album. She's a killer. You guys talk too much.
Right? I did get that Kulik set list here.
Ah, okay. Let's go over that.
Yeah. So lots and lots of good stuff on this one. They did All American Man, Hide Your Heart, Wouldn't You Like to Know Me, Domino, Larger Than Life, Tears Are Falling, Nowhere to Run, Tough Love, Tonight You Belong to Me, Who Wants to Be Lonely, Crazy Nights, Turn on the Night, and Goodbye.
See, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a set list that you'll never hear Kiss do.
Oh, definitely.
Well, how many of those songs has Kiss done or like Paul done on his solo tour? Because I know he's done some of those.
I mean, Domino
Did Goodbye, I think, didn't he, on his that tour he did in 80 or whatever year it was, not 89. It was after.
Wouldn't You Like to Know Me, they did last year. Who Wants to Be Lonely, they used to do that all the time back in that era.
Yeah. And Crazy Nights, of course.
Yeah.
They still pull out occasionally.
I'd like to hear that, though, like, especially the stuff that Bruce originally played, Domino, that kind of stuff.
I'd be curious to hear Tough Love, especially.
Oh, yeah. And then, All American Man, you listen to Bob play that, it still sounds exactly like the album. Every time you hear him play them solos and stuff, it's insane. Like, spot on. Like, you would think somebody put the album on and he's just playing to it or something. Or, pantomiming. But no. And from what I've been hearing, the guy that was singing all them songs sounded really good too. I'm not familiar with the guy's name, but I heard he sounded pretty good on a lot of that stuff. So who knows, man? Maybe the Kulik brothers, maybe they could throw together a little tour or something and go around doing that stuff.
I don't think they've ever done that, have they?
No. Because Bruce has always been tied up with Grand Funk and doing some of his solo stuff and all. Well, I know Bob just released an album recently, too. I keep forgetting to look for that.
Right.
And then, Bruce's newest album, I love it, man. Like, the song with Nick Simmons is probably my favorite song on there. It's killer.
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff on there. So, that would be awesome, though, man. See them go out on like a little tour or something. Or even just do an album, covering those songs or something. That would be awesome too.
That would be.
I feel like we're due for another, Kiss tribute type album or something, like an all-star album. Like Kiss My Ass 2 or something.
I gotta say too, I watched that video of them doing Turn on the Night, and I guess that was probably near the end of the set list, but I noticed that Bruce, I don't know if something was wrong, Bruce was looking really serious.
Really?
Throughout the whole song. Yeah, now Bob looked like he has the time of his life. He was smiling and pointing at the crowd and doing stuff. Bruce, however, kind of looked like he wasn't feeling too good. So
wow.
Hope everything was okay there.
Maybe he gets seasick easily.
That could be.
I know he was sort of under the weather at the Kiss Expo last year.
Yeah, that was a bummer, man. But yeah, he was still a trooper, but he wasn't as talkative, of course, as he usually is. But
right.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, if he wasn't feeling well, it wasn't nothing too major. Or maybe he was having some sort of issues with his gear or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Q&A with Michael James Jackson has happened yet or not, but definitely want to see the video of that or whatever, even if I have to read a transcript or something. I want to know.
Yeah. Shoot, why didn't they have him last year? Wouldn't that have made more sense to have him last year?
Yeah, you would think so, right? And then last I saw, they had added Extreme to the show like last second. So
I didn't realize they were still together.
yeah, I don't see any of their set lists on this site yet, but I'm sure that they've already played, but no one's put their set list on yet. So
I think the Dives did the pre-show. Who else? There was the Dives. Is it the Dives or the Dive? Is it plural?
The Dives, yeah.
And there was who was the other one? There was another clip that I seen. It was talking of said somebody about doing something about the pre-show.
I think they had the Dead Daisies. And then I know there was a Zeppelin and Beatles tributes, but I'm not sure, when all these bands play.
So is the pre-show, is that actually on the boat, or is that?
Yeah, that's the sail away show, I would imagine, because I think the Dives probably played before, because that's kind of what they did last year. I don't think it was the Dives; it was just Evan and then Nick Simmons came up, and they did a couple like Zeppelin songs, and that was before Kiss came on to do the sail away show. I'm pretty sure.
If they'd have gave him a new character then and there, they would have continued to do that with Tommy.
Right.
And that's a whole different line of merchandise. So it's almost like, why wouldn't you do that? From a Kiss standpoint, merchandise, you'd think that they would have.
I mean, look at the stupid idea that they tried to do with Eric Carr when he first joined the band.
Oh, good Lord, yeah.
But what they do, they turned around and made it something better, or at least he did. And same with Vinny. So why is all of a sudden that, why would that never work again, ever?
Are you talking about the makeup design or?
The whole costume and makeup design, the Hawk.
Oh, okay.
I mean, look at how atrocious that was.
The Incredible Hulk?
Yes. And, Eric turned around and made it something good. Vinny, with his character, so why would that suddenly not work again?
Well, I remember seeing, when Eric's face with the makeup started appearing in magazines, like some of those 16 magazines and Tiger Beat, some of those, because Kiss was all in those magazines, which is weird to even think of that. And the first thing I thought is like, wow, his makeup is really cool. I like that a lot better than the Peter Criss makeup. That was the first thing I remember thinking back in, God, whatever year that was, 80, was it 1980 probably?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Vinny too, as far as that goes, because I think his makeup design is one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
One of my favorite costumes too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've just never understood why they just immediately that'll never work again, and we just can't keep creating character after character after character.
And it's funny because, with them having the falling out with Ace and Peter the first time and the second time and the third time, or ever how many times it was with Peter, you would think that they wouldn't want anything to do with that character because they associate that person with that character. I mean,
Right.
You know what I mean? They've done that with Vinny.
Exactly. Now, granted, Eric he kind of wears his own variation of the cat makeup, but Tommy is pretty much wearing the exact, the way Ace wore it. And, again, I don't have so much problem with that. The biggest thing I have a problem now is with Eric wearing the cat makeup, but yet wearing the Fox outfit. That does not make any damn sense. One or the other, man. If you're going to do the creature thing, wear that, then wear the damn Fox makeup. I don't understand. But again, no, because it's all about those four main characters, and so we got to just keep that. And I just don't get it sometimes. And sometimes they talk about the fans and like we don't know anything and we don't know what we're talking about, and then they'll turn around in the next sentence and talk about how we're the bosses, and it's all about the fans. It's like,
well, I think Gene says that probably more than any of them does.
right. It's like, okay, well, listen to us a little more. And I think maybe Gene is kind of starting to see the light a little bit with this whole box set thing, and the way he's been talking about, wanting to actually spend one-on-one quality time with a lot of the fans, and maybe he's kind of seeing the light a little bit about that. Like, maybe we need to, he probably wants to hear somebody spout off an idea so he can immediately jump on it and, turn it into something else and get all the money for it, which he's done plenty of times in the past. So. But I don't know. I totally agree. Like, what the hell?
That's my CD, I think, spinning.
Is that your vibrator?
Yeah. Can you hear that?
I saw you start smiling all
We
big.
got new batteries.
Wow.
As you were.
You couldn't even wait for the show to be over. But yeah, I mean, again, I've never really had the issue of Eric and Tommy wearing, that stuff, but it does bother me more now, like I said, with Eric Singer, what he wears now. But and it's like,
Well, they could have solved that problem, because if they'd have just done it on the Kiss Cruise, and then when they decided to tour with those similar outfits, they could have just gave Eric a different outfit without the fur and all that stuff, and then that would have solved that problem.
yeah,
Right. It would have been a nice homage to Eric Carr to do it on the cruise.
right.
Yep.
See, I kind of get a feeling, though, that Tommy probably didn't want to try to do another character. He probably was hell-bent on being a spaceman because that's what he's always done. So he was probably hell-bent on being that character. So that kind of screws Eric, because you can't change one, not the other,
Well, I just wonder if they had that specific conversation, because I know Tommy and Eric have a lot of input, and I think because Paul and Gene respect them a lot, and they've been in the band forever at this point, I think that they have a lot of say-so, even though they don't have the final say. So I just wonder if they had that conversation, Tommy says, well, I'm not going to wear Vinny's makeup because I don't, for whatever reason. So, because I think Eric would have done anything. I think he would have, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like Tommy would have done that too, but not as much as Eric, I don't think.
Something I'd be interested to know from Eric, and this may sound like a stupid, like, why does it even matter? But it's just kind of curious, like, would he go back to doing the blonde hair if he was allowed to? Why not?
I noticed he started dyeing it black and was using his real hair when he first joined.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I don't know, I couldn't tell you the time period when he started wearing a wig, but I know he grew his hair out really a lot longer than the actual wig that he wears. But he's still dyeing it. So I just wonder if he just thought, oh, I look better that way, I like it, I'll just keep doing it. Or, you know what I mean? I just wonder how that happened, because I don't know what his true hair color is. Is it blonde?
I assume it is. But he probably decided to keep it dark, to match the other guys. And, it's...
Because when he was in Badlands and Alice Cooper, it was blonde.
Yeah. So it's this, it's something I'm just... And that's another thing that boggles my mind. He has that hair, but yet wears a wig over top of it. And it's like, why? Like, who cares if it's longer than what, because you're not Peter. Remember, you're not
You
Peter.
know, it's funny too because it didn't used to matter as much because there's footage of Peter Chris back in, I want to say it's like 74, early 75, and his hair is probably about this long,
Yeah,
clear down to here, and then he got it cut like what you're used to seeing Peter Chris have, and he kept it pretty much like that, more or less, from that point on. So
it's like,
then it wasn't like,
yeah, but it's like, what do they always tell us? He's not trying to be Peter Chris. He's just the Catman. Okay, well, so why does your hair have to look like Peter Chris's if you're not
right.
Peter Chris? Who cares? You're the Catman. He should be able to wear it however he wants.
yeah, he could wear cat ears if he wanted to,
Yeah, yeah.
and I wish he could.
I wish he'd have a litter box up there next to him. Come out on his solo and scratch around.
Gene would have to change his litter box. He could just set it on fire, you know.
Oh God. Yeah, but you know, it's one of them things where we may never know when it comes to Tommy and Eric, you know, their side of the thing. But
Unless they ever write a book when Kiss is over, you know, like we said.
right, which definitely hope happens, because
Yeah.
those would be two books that I would read, you know, in no time. And you know, we've said before, you know, Eric's obviously not afraid to speak his mind. You know, Tommy seems a little reserved, but I'm sure in the long run he probably would, you know, let it all out too after all's said and done.
I mean, and that's, you know, like, if Kiss is, you know, over and done with, whether there's Kiss 2.0 or not, you know, if Tommy's still working with, say, Paul and Gene in some way, I think he would probably write a book, and be honest.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Yeah.
Hang on, let me go see what this meltdown's about.
Clean it. I've actually had our white cat, he's actually sat there and waited on me to clean it out, and then he goes and uses it. He's done that several times. Yeah, I'm talking about you.
Our orange cat, if it's too messy for her liking, she'll just go outside of the litter box.
Yeah, our black cat will do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's why I clean it twice a day, is because he was just pooping on the carpet. Because, yeah, it's the same way. If it's not clean for him, like he wants it, he don't care where he poops.
Oh, you do that too, so.
Well, yeah, he's seen by example.
Blame it on the cat.
Yeah, or blame it on the rain.
Or the drain.
Milli Vanilli.
Weird Al. Well, all right, Lynn. That's going to do it this week.
Yeah, we're all Kiss Cruise.
Yes, so I'm sure we'll do, you know, a follow-up post-Kiss Cruise show next week once more info and videos and all that come out. Again, anyone that happens to watch, listen, hey, welcome to come on the show. Tell us about the experience. You know, contact us via Facebook or YouTube. You know, please share some pictures and videos to our page as well. We'd love to see them. So, excited to see what Kiss pulls out tonight and tomorrow night. And again, we'll follow up on it next week. So, as always, subscribe to our channel, like the Facebook page, keep spreading the word. We appreciate all the support. Anything else you guys want to close up with? No?
Yes.
Okay. All right then. Well, until next week, we'll see you later.